Welcome back, folks. My name is LastKnownMeal, and today we're going to be talking about Vigilance 2099, an upcoming cyberpunk bounty hunting game. I came across this a few days back when one of my mods actually recommended to look at this because he was like, damn, this actually looks really good, and especially because it's set in cyberpunk subgenre, they really managed to nail that Bladerunner atmosphere. So I look at the video and I look at the previous footage they had released on Vigilance 2099, and the progress they had made was actually very well done. So Envoyed Studios is actually made up from 3 people, so this is an indie title, and right now, as I said, they are in very late prototype development stages, so there is quite a bit until this game comes out, but I wanted to share some light on it and see what everyone thinks about it, because after I watched the video, by some game of chance, I had the lead developer actually message me because they wanted to promote on my Discord, and I was like, great, I just watched the trailer, like, I'm excited to actually make a video on this, so here it is. So today I'm going to tell you everything we know so far about Vigilance 2099 and why I think this game is actually very promising. So, Vigilance 2099, as I said, is a cyberpunk bounty hunting game, and we have an outline of the story and the character. Basically, you take a role of an ex-fed that finds themselves at the bottom of a crime-filled city, taking any bounty jobs that come their way, so they can use their skills from the force to hunt down, kill, or capture bounties for rewards. They think they will find some answers by climbing up the criminal ladder and making deals with different mega corporations. Obviously, this is all we know about the story. We don't know what answers this bounty hunter is set to find, but overall we will learn as the game progresses. As I said, this is just a small team of 3 people, and currently, as I also said, they're in late prototype stages. Right now they're still trying to figure out everything like the environment tests, and you can see it from their YouTube channel that the game over the past 2 years has been really shaping up to be better and better. Now, when it comes to Kickstarter or publishers, currently, as they said here on their website, they're talking to many different publishers, but they also want to maybe consider Kickstarter because they want the public to be more involved in the development of the game. Is this game going to be open world? That is actually a good question that they answer. The game will be decently sized open world. The city will be split into 3 distinct sections, stacking atop on one another. The wealthiest are at the top, middle class at the middle section, and the most unfortunate, or well, the poor, are at the bottom. We want to avoid having a large world just for the sake of it. Making ground level of each sector feels tight, yet content filled is our main goal. I do applaud this, making huge open world where it's, you don't have anything special around it is, not really something people want, and people don't want to waste too much time going around the map when there is nothing to find or where there is nothing actually to benefit your character or push the story. So I'm really glad that they're actually keeping the map itself confined so they can actually fill it up with more content. When it comes to the features in the game, they said this: we don't want to overpromise anything as we know what that could cause, especially since we are so early in development. However, currently a feature list is as follows: driving, air models, or ground vehicles, something we had seen, and actually driving around the city from one of the gameplay footage I had seen, like you can see it right here, it looks good. Like, they really managed to capture that Blade Runner kind of atmosphere, which I really do like. Besides that, it will have parkour, shooting, slight hand-to-hand combat, takedowns and counters, interrogations, NPCs and bounties, hacking, and negotiation. Deals with bounties to accept alternate rewards to let them go. So obviously, we're gonna see what the story is going to be about, but so far as we can see, doing negotiations, having alternative ways of finishing a story or hunting down a bounty is definitely going to be something cool, because obviously that's going to increase the replayability of the game. Standout feature currently being worked on is what they call the Outlaw system. It is similar to the Nemesis system seen in the Shadow of Mordor or other war games. It will allow bounty targets that the player has escaped to remember and have upgrades when the player seeks out that bounty again. However, like I said, we don't want to overpromise, said the dev. But obviously, like, it would be cool if, like, you had these situations, you know, your bounty escapes and then later on they will be ready, so there are actually some ways to fail the mission itself. Currently, a basic version of every feature other than the Outlaw system is in the prototype and being worked on. When it comes to the engine, this game is currently being made in Unreal Engine 4, but they also have a version being tested on Unreal Engine 5. One of the things we do know is that it's relatively easy to actually port your project from Unreal Engine 4 into Unreal Engine 5, so it would be really cool if they actually could deliver this game in Unreal Engine 5, because we know how insanely well that engine looks and like how much can actually benefit the overall game. Because I mean, so far when it comes from the aesthetics, when it comes to the environment, when it comes to light and shaders, I think they're onto something. I think they actually did a very nice job on how and what Cyberpunk world is supposed to look like, especially if you draw a lot from Prey or Bladerunner. Is the game single player or multiplayer? The game will be single player at the moment, so I do guess that single player is gonna be the primary thing, especially because they're not a huge team. So obviously maybe later on they introduce something, but obviously so far this is gonna be single player. When it comes to customization, the game will have customization for the player and vehicles. That's actually very cool. I'm gonna see like how much of that customization is going to be there, but if you look at some of the things like the jacket the main character is wearing, etc, etc, like, yeah, it looks good. When it comes to the platforms the game is going to be released on, they said it's too early to talk about that, but they actually do aim to be, you know, available for PC, PlayStation and Xbox. Now, we're obviously going to see how that is going to progress. Also, when it comes to the release date, they said this: we have one in mind, but not to be said publicly. We as devs just have to work towards it, and when we are absolutely confident that the game is playable and smooth as silk, we will announce a release date. This is something I applaud, especially because they're a small team. They don't really have any room for error over here. Like when you're a small team, if your project goes down, you cannot really recover too much from it, but obviously they said that they really want to like make the game polished and run well before they announce anything, which again I do applaud. And when it comes to their next steps, they do say that they're gonna have like Kickstarter, etc, etc, obviously more footage as, you know, the game progresses. So as soon as they release something, as soon as we have new info, I will definitely make more videos on it, because I do personally think that Cyberpunk as a subgenre needs more games, and lately, you know, the only game we had which kind of stood out in that was Cyberpunk 2077, but obviously, you know, Cyberpunk as a subgenre definitely needs more games, and you can just create a different version of that Cyberpunk world, because Bladerunner has its own vibes, Cyberpunk 2077 has its own vibes. Then if you look at Prey, it has its own vibes, let's say Disco Elysium, etc, etc, a bunch of games, different styles, but this one is definitely something I am very looking forward to. One thing I do hope it's going to have is variety when it comes to missions and, you know, bounty hunting, because if everything is the same, it gets boring quickly. But obviously, as they said with the Nemesis system they have, etc, etc, I think it will have depth to it. And obviously, I do hope that the story is gonna have depth to it, so that our character goes through certain arcs, etc, etc. But again, so far, I think the game is very promising. I'm gonna leave you all of the links down below so you can check it out, follow it and see what's gonna be happening, you know? Because I'm definitely looking forward to like more games, like indie games, because indie games now have the ability to experiment. Indie developers now have the ability to create something which is going to stand out, especially because AAA studios are having issues, you know, people don't trust them, so I think this is a time for indie devs to really shine. And look, so far this is everything we know regarding Vigilance 2099. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to tell me down below what do you think about this. And also don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button for the algorithm. YouTube keeps suppressing videos, so if you click that like button, you do help out the channel and me immensely, so thank you so much. Also, check us out on Twitter and Discord, join our community there, and I do have a Patreon page. If you wanted an extra way to support the channel, you can do it via the link below. And also huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. This is LKM signing out, and stay classy everyone. Bye bye.